I own a comb. Hey guys, Kerblam, way back. I'm Aaron.
I'm Melanie.
This is Melanie.
I'm cold.
We are here with some Doctor Who. Last time on Doctor Who, episode 6, we went to India. Or did we go to Pakistan?
I really don't know. I don't know where we started or ended up.
So we had an interesting story with that involving Yaz and her heritage, her family line and stuff
Her
like that,
grandma
right?
and her grandma's life story, which was really cool. I loved how the episode was set up.
It was a very good episode, but we had a little debate talking about, like, how much does this all feel like Who, and how much does it feel like just a fun time travel show? Like, does it still feel like Who, or where are we on this whole thing? So, the poll itself is, what do you guys think about Series 11? Tell us why in the comments. 68% said...
68.
Said, I have been enjoying it, while 31% said that they have not been enjoying it.
It's still a pretty good amount.
So, while we had a poll, the main thing is I was wanting to look through some comments. Hopefully they're not super long in the comments.
Yeah.
But I want to kind of get an idea of what some people are thinking and saying. So I'll try to read through some of these and see what what their thoughts are. Because like I said, this season, more so than any seasons I think I've seen, has felt different as far as Doctor Who, to me.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Not that I've not been enjoying it, because I really liked the last episode. I really liked the Rosa episode.
Yeah.
But it's just different.
Well, like you said from the beginning, they're not meeting the threat threshold.
Mm-hmm. Who the Vortex?
Who?
V.
Wait, what?
Definitely enjoying it more than not. Some episodes are quite shaky, but the majority, for me, have been great.
Yeah.
That's good. AB says, I love Jodie. Everything from cinematography to the music to the set and the costume design is as good as ever, if not better than before. I love all the companions and their chemistry and humor. However, I feel like the only thing letting this season down is the writing. The stakes have been low, the villains unthreatening, and not very memorable. And even the way some of the episodes have wrapped up has felt lazy. I hope the writing gets better. Demons in Punjab was my favorite episode so far, and the first episode not written by Chibnall, which is the new lead.
Gotcha. Huh.
Morphosis says, I have not been enjoying it. The episodes feel bland, and having no season-long arc is hurting the series, I think. Yeah, so far nothing has seemed to be connected to anything in particular.
They're all one-offs. Unless, like, we get surprised at the end, and they're like, oh, this is why. But we only have 3 episodes left.
Something like that, yeah.
This one, and...
Sarah says, I'm loving it, feels fresh, but still feels like Who. Cameron says, it's not my favorite season of New Who, but I am enjoying it thus far. Mm-hmm. Andrew says the first season with the new Doc is always a bit ropey. Ropey? Except Matt Smith, and he's nowhere near my favorite Doctor.
Oh, wow.
Spider from Mars. Spider from Mars.
Oh.
I think the historicals have been very effective and hard-hitting. They are the most successful part of the showrunner's new vision for the show. Some of the other stories have suffered in comparison. Jodie is a decent Doctor, though I rate the other New Who Doctors higher, and while Graham is a great companion, the other two don't hold a candle to the predecessors. Yet. The show just isn't going to be as high concept as the previous 6 seasons, and that's something I've just got to get used to. But I love the visuals and the music. Everyone is saying about how it has its ups and downs. There's some good episodes. Gibbsy liking it but not loving it. Just doesn't feel like Doctor Who to me. Not enough focus on the Doctor and too many companions. Mm-hmm. Stormwolf says really liking it, actually. It may be different from what we saw with Moffat, but as I can't stand Moffat, that's a good thing in my eyes.
Yeah.
But I know a lot of people that also enjoyed the Moffat series and stuff too. So
yeah, definitely.
I don't know. And then there's also Davies' series. So, I mean, every showrunner has a different vision of what they want. Let's go down to the bottom and grab a couple from the
Yeah, there's a lot
here.
of comments on this one. And We had a lot.
Will says there has been 2 real hits so far this series, and the others have mainly been pretty good. I really love the current group. I think the companions and stuff, it was whoever it was, AB or whatnot, everything but the stories themselves.
Yeah.
Just haven't been the best.
I agree. Everything's up there. I love Team TARDIS. I'm enjoying Jodie Whittaker's performance. Just the writing so far. But I'm loving the episodes, just not who.
Andrea says, while I'm enjoying the series, there is a little emotional connection with the Doctor. If she were to regenerate at the end of this season, I would not cry like I did with previous Doctors. Yeah. She is the Doctor, but she isn't the Doctor, if that makes sense.
It does.
We don't have that connection with the Doctor so far that we've had in previous seasons. But
I don't think
the first season.
Yeah, I don't remember a first season where I felt immediately attached. Towards the end of the first season.
I will say for Eccleston, the first season, he only had one season. And by the end of it, I'm like, oh, okay, I'm kind of liking this. Now, I didn't cry, and I wasn't, completely upset. But once he started regenerating, I'm like, man, I was just really getting into this Doctor, now I got to go to a new one.
Oh, for me?
So I'm curious, on the last episode we have here, if we were to say she regenerated, how upset would we be at that? You know what I mean?
But with Eccleston, that was a whole different matter. For you and me, that was both of our first regeneration that we witnessed.
Yeah.
So we didn't quite understand what to expect. But with this, Peter Capaldi, towards the end of his first season, we definitely started getting attached because he had some pretty good episodes. Because wasn't Hellbent and Heaven Sent all in the first season of Capaldi?
I can never remember. His stuff kind of blends together. No, Dark Water, Death and
Dark Water, okay.
Remember those ones?
Yeah.
So
I knew that there was some where you started just growing. He grew on you really.
8, 9. 9 had Hellbent, Heaven Sent, and all that, which was around the time of the end of Clara.
Yeah.
So that's what happened there. But no, the second season, that's what had Magician's Apprentice, which I loved.
Which was the first
one. It had the Zygon Invasion, which I loved. It had Heaven Sent, which I think I loved Heaven Sent. Hellbent was a little weird, but I liked it too.
Hellbent was trippy.
Then Husbands of River song. Oh, man.
Yeah,
the second season of Capaldi, I loved it. Anyway.
We haven't had that wow moment with her.
We don't have the connection to all the companions like we normally would. But even the first season of Matt Smith, I feel like it had more of a connection to the companions, the story. They did some historical stuff, but not strictly historical, where we went back and saw Winston Churchill during World War II.
Yeah.
And there were some Daleks and stuff, and you feel threatened with Daleks. And I don't know. I want to see a good story with these characters that I'm enjoying, but I want to be scared for them.
See, I think that's one thing that they're not taking advantage of, is that we have this whole Who universe with all these villains and everything that they already have set up. So if they brought something like a Cyberman or a Dalek or a Weeping Angel or the Silence or something like that we already know into this, we'd feel that immediate threat. Because we already have the storyline. We already know the bad that they can do. Versus they introduce everything's new. And we have all the new companions. We have the new Doctor. We have a new looking TARDIS.
Well, and with that too, each of the new menaces, the threats that we have, never seem that threatening.
Because they haven't had the opportunity
I think they're not threatening. I don't think
develop.
I think if I had 3 episodes with Pating, I wouldn't be like, oh god.
No, the Pating was just really cute. But the Stenza, I think, has all the potential of being something very bad.
I don't know.
But they haven't had the chance to develop it because we need to get to know all the companions. We need to get to know the Doctor. We need to get to know what's going on.
I don't know. The Stenzas sound threatening, but I'm not threatened by them.
Well, that's because
the Doctor kicked one and it fell and disappeared. That's all that happened. They
haven't had the chance to fully develop the menacing aspect of these things.
The first episode of me ever knowing what a Dalek was in Christopher Eccleston's, and I was threatened by a Dalek, and I'm like, well, what are they going to do with this thing that's going through killing everybody? So I think you can do it in one episode. You don't need multiple episodes. Weeping Angels were threatening in one episode. You don't need a season to make a villain threatening. You just need a good story, and you need to be able to feel threatened by the villain. And so far, we haven't hit that mark with any of these new creatures. So no, maybe bringing in a old creature would be a good idea, and then we can see how these characters react to something that we know and we know can be threatening.
Exactly. So I would like to see them bring something old back in, so then they don't have to spend the time developing it.
Well, let's see what is old and what is new, and what is borrowed and what is blue. And you're supposed to hit the button.
Oh, I thought you were on a point.
Dead mouse is he's there. Everyone's jumping like this. Kerblam! Oh.
Must have been a while back.
Is it a fez?
Oh my god.
Still me?
Nice.
It must have been a while back.
Help.
I wonder who it's from.
What do you mean? The doctor ordered it.
I know, the help me.
Oh. This reminds me of that place with the happy faces.
Oh, yeah, that was freaky.
Pick it, click it, kerblam it. So, what do you think? Are these gonna, like, do the Angel Titanic thing and just... Remember them?
Oh.
Is it me or are they pretty creepy?
Yeah, they are.
Why are you two? That's robophobic. Some of my best friends are robots. We were right along here then.
Naruto.
Oh, yeah.
Two hearts. Courtesy of the First Lady. Very good healthcare policy. I don't like to talk about it. So,
I know some people are against quotas, but I'm all for that one. I would say that, wouldn't I? Head of people, self-interest.
I like her.
Relax.
What the? What's a group loop?
She's so happy. Like,
I don't know.
she's a villain.
Never, ever climb onto the conveyors.
Nah. She's like, dang it! It's all I wanted to do!
Yeah, she's so upset.
That's what Dad used to say. Go organics.
Go organics.
He was a bit odd, my dad.
We're so thrilled to have you.
So
Those eyes.
A very warm welcome to Premium Maintenance.
Aw, poor Graham.
Not a word.
Ryan's laughing.
But maintenance knows everything.
we make them happy. Still watching. Where are these packing slips generated from?
I don't know, they just arrive here. Our little instruction slips.
Huh.
So where they come from?
Try not to bump into the robots. If you can manage that.
Ugh.
Hey, look, it's him.
Film star looks.
How old is she?
6.
Where is she?
She's upstairs. She's head of finance. Now she's back home on camera.
I was like, wait, what?
She made me this. Lacquered with Arcadium.
Katie's dad.
No, not a good idea. Not on your first date. I'll take that.
What?
The last person to search for an order down there got the sack. Never saw them again.
Huh.
Man, I better not just see his necklace randomly by itself.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
What you done, Melanie?
It's gonna get evaporated or something. I know, he's freaky.
You wanted this. Is she gonna follow?
Oh, heck yeah.
Re-engage brain if you can find it.
Alright, alright.
Know anyone who needs help?
Get back to work.
Is it him? You think it's him?
I don't know.
You're annoying.
That's a lot of bubble wrap.
The next day, he was gone.
Gone.
Oh, stuff's eating them.
Doesn't have an order.
They're being turned into the people things.
They're like Cybermen?
Yeah, that would be just like Cyberman with it. It's lame.
Oh, crap. Oh, crap.
Practicing your lurking.
It's not responding. It's not responding.
Chunk! No, it's gonna judo chop and knock him out.
It's gonna grab his arm.
I'll report it if that's it.
And his necklace on the floor.
There's his necklace. Damn it, Melanie. Uh-oh.
Oi, run! Run, yes!
Oh!
Are they hungry?
I need you to find out the history of
What's he cleaning the grass?
Oh, Kira and Charlie. They're so cute. Aww.
The man is missing, and I don't think he's the first. Not if this is any indicator.
Are they the right people to show that to?
We'll look into it.
I think it's her.
You have my word.
No, I don't think it is.
Eh.
I think
Words better be worth something.
they're not actually in charge of anything.
Talking of wasps, did I ever tell you about me and Agatha Christie?
So,
Agatha Christie.
Kira, I can detect even the most subtle of social cues.
Really?
No, it's obvious.
I love it.
I mean, have you smelt her?
Strange enough, I haven't.
Hello, Graham.
Take me hours to get to the next spill.
I reckon I could get that.
Our reception is currently in.
He's so sweet.
Good job, Graham. He's slick.
Yeah, he is.
Why does he need a clipboard?
Oh, a filing cabinet?
Khan and Sinclair, the greatest detectives in the galaxy.
Why is it locked? Why is it unlocked?
Your group loops told me you were back here.
I suggest you're guilty of some serious negligence.
And this power.
Why is power go out? Oh, this is new, right?
No,
Charlie, no. Oh.
He pulled the air.
Investigating. Oh, jeez. Good job, human resource lady. She's ripped his head up.
So you'll need Kerblam version 1.0?
That'd be hundreds of years old, wouldn't it?
And I think we can help with that.
Artifacts.
Oh, yeah.
Is that Kerblam 1.0?
It's cute.
Oh, look at that.
Quite cute, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. That's not.
So you're familiar with all this, huh? Oh, man, he's got one of them gun things. Oh, no, Kira. Look behind you.
Kerblam has a gift for you.
Dang it.
She always likes gifts.
One of the workers from packing has gone missing. Her group loops disappeared right off the system. Name of Kira Arlo.
No, Charlie.
It's like it's sending us a deliberate message.
Trap.
Yep.
You did this in your last job?
Yeah, once.
How'd it go?
Really badly.
Oh, no.
Sprained ankle and final warning.
Yo, Ryan.
That'd be fun.
Yes.
Why is there a handle there if you're not allowed to jump down that? I would not stay in there.
No, look at that big door.
Whoa.
That would be fun.
A drop? Is it a drop? We're gonna die. Whoa. Don't roll off.
Oh, no.
Well, you don't cover your eyes. Good landing.
You almost killed him with a high five.
No, don't high five on a roller coaster.
Save Kerblam.
I'm only a delivery bot.
See, now you've made it nervous.
Don't panic, Twirly. You can do this. It's possible that
Disintegration.
No.
Jeez.
Oh, my God.
It's a very ineffective way of disintegrating organic materials. This is where dispatch goes. This is not what I expected.
Kira? And took him with him.
Oh!
very bad manners to point guns at people. I've never warned you. So,
She's doing the
on the list. So it's not you?
No. Then why do you have a gun?
Sludge?
I've got a group loops.
Oh.
No.
I think these are the remnants of the missing workers.
A lot of delivery guys.
No, don't open it. Don't open it. Don't open it.
Let me find the entrance.
And they can just stand there and watch.
For Kira.
Don't open it. Doesn't this sound looking whatever suspicious to you?
You said it looked like an army. What do armies
Oh,
Weapons?
liquefy the human race?
They're not bombs, are they?
What does every parcel here have in common?
Bubble wrap. Bubble wrap.
And then every time you pop one,
What's the big deal about bubble wrap? Oh,
it's
Kira.
filled with the horrible substance in the bubbles. Don't pop it. Don't pop it.
Oh my god.
That's scary.
It is.
So possible.
The system took her. It's been fighting back against me.
Charlie's been doing this.
I needed test subjects to be sure the detonation forces would work in such a small concentration.
What?
Next time it will be 7%, then 5, then 1. I am stronger than you. I'm not going to stand by and accept it.
So you're gonna kill the people?
Delivery procedures initiated.
From that controller!
Oh, yes!
Oh yeah,
She's a cop.
police one.
Charlie, last chance. Get out of there now.
Charlie.
If you want,
Think they'll keep Twirly?
That'd be awesome. He reminds
Like
me
K9?
of K9.
Poor Dan.
You saved my life.
Does she want to go see the little girl?
I want to take this to his daughter.
No.
Look at the way those all move like fingers.
Yeah.
I like this episode.
It felt very Doctor Who.
It did.
It felt like Doctor Who was back.
It felt like a Doctor Who episode. The things that I've had issues with, I felt like the writing was decent with it.
Yeah.
I felt like you're being threatened by, oh, here's these things that are bad. It's going to be like, you know, the
creepy looking robots.
Like the Titanic, you know, where you have something coming at you and you're worried about these weird looking things and stuff, and then it has a little twist where, oh, you know, this was the bad guy and we got to solve the problem and everyone's lives are in danger. And
yeah, like the robots were actually good guys.
Yeah.
They were trying to get rid of the bad guy.
Yeah, so I felt like the writing for this episode was done well. I liked it a lot.
I really liked it, yes. I definitely loved this episode.
I mean, besides like the emotional impact that some of the historical episodes have had,
yeah,
I felt like this one is like my favorite of the series so far this season.
I have to agree with you. It didn't have the emotional part with bringing the necklace back to the daughter.
Yeah, which we didn't even visit that.
No,
it was
just
the discussion.
Just a little nod was enough to bring like a little tear to your eye. But I don't understand. The only thing that I have a flaw, like felt flawed, was his plan. Like he was going to kill all the people that were getting the packages. Therefore, the percentage of workers that are working is increased because there's fewer humans?
No.
Or just blowing up...
No, the idea was that if they made automated cars a thing...
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. And now no one's driving, so now truck drivers don't have a thing, you know, all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
If all of a sudden the system that makes driving the vehicles starts killing a bunch of people... Mm-hmm. Then they're going to remove automated cars.
Oh, okay.
So his idea was that if you have this automated system, this system just killed a whole bunch of people, we should remove this system and go back to all human workers.
Okay.
So, I know, my first thought too is like, so you're against the system, so you're going to kill people?
Yeah.
But then once she kind of said about what he was thinking, I was like, oh, okay. I kind of get what you mean, though. Not that it's a good idea, but if you can prove the system is flawed and that it needs shut down because it's killing people, then...
Yeah, because there was a whole bunch of kid toys and everything and all those packages. Yeah. So,
like, could you imagine being like, here you go, and you just give it, and they open, yeah, cool, and everyone's always like, oh, bubble wrap.
Usually the kids toss it on the ground and start stepping on it. Mm-hmm. I mean, it is a scary idea that could be extremely possible, you know? Like putting anthrax inside those little bubbles.
Remember the episode on Flash with the Trickster? And he had put a bunch of Christmas packages under trees and stuff that were explosions and stuff that were going to blow up. So, I mean, yeah, different shows have kind of talked and toyed with that idea a bit, so.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, that's a little less likely, like, versus this is something that's managed off-site, you know, like, it's like the anthrax issue, you know, like opening up a letter. Yeah. Versus, like, all these presents. Well, honey, hold up. I don't know where those presents came from.
You mean in reality doing
Yes, in reality.
Well, see, the presents, they know where the presents came from, though. That you're saying? Like this one here that you ordered versus, like, just a random gift from another tree?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know that you could make an explosion or
not
anything.
Not an explosion, but you could very easily.
Bubble wrap, but I don't know, something could be
Yeah, you could fill it with anthrax or any type of chemical, like that just dissolves your skin after you pop it. Like, there's a lot of possibilities that could be done with that.
Chemical. It couldn't be a liquid chemical or any of that kind of stuff. It'd be
I know. It's scary. It's terrifying. That's what terrified me the most about this episode, is the fact that that is such a possibility. Like, especially in these days where everything comes in those huge bubbles, you just rip right into that and, like, have just...
Are you sure it's not just your fear of balloons and popping? Sure. I don't know. I don't view it as being a totally tangible thing. The whole package danger thing.
See, no one would. Like, a common citizen wouldn't. They would be completely nonchalant.
Common citizen? You idiot. You would not understand. Alright, so another thing that we had talked about, I think we talked about it off camera. We were discussing colors, and Melanie was like, well, put some yellow in there because of the TARDIS. And I was like, well, we're never in the TARDIS. which has been fairly true. Like, we've gone. We had Yaz talk to her grandma last episode, right?
Yeah.
And then she talked to the doctor, and then we were just there, you know? But we very, very rarely has it felt like we've been in the TARDIS.
And the TARDIS stuck around.
The first 2 episodes was no TARDIS until the very end.
No, she got tossed from the TARDIS. And then...
we did not see her or the TARDIS for like 15 minutes. And then we didn't see the TARDIS until the end of the 2nd episode. And then into the 3rd episode, I don't really remember the TARDIS. I remember the Rosa stuff and all that happened and whatnot. But I mean, there's been a little bit of TARDIS. And then in this episode, we start in the TARDIS and we end in the TARDIS, which is nice. I like...
You have to give nod to the TARDIS being there in the, 40s, whenever someone was trying to use the actual telephone box. There was that nice little nod there.
When was that?
They were trying to open it. It was locked.
I don't remember that.
It was the Rosa episode, so it was just out there in the middle of the street, and they were trying to use the telephone box.
I thought that was the guy he came up on it, like...
No, he did too, but I thought there's, the 40s, people just walking past.
I don't think so. I don't remember it. But anyway, the inside of the TARDIS being there, the way the story went, like, this episode felt more Doctor Who-y than it had before, which I'm also curious, I guess, on... Some people have been saying the Chibnall non-written episodes have felt a bit more Doctor Who-ish than... So I want to see who wrote this story, because I don't remember in the beginning. It probably says in the beginning. Pete McTiggy. I don't know. Pete. So, I don't know. It felt good. I liked the story. It was enjoyable. We actually went somewhere, too.
Yeah.
We spent, like, 4 episodes on Earth.
1, 2,
the spider
the
episode,
first episode,
the spider episode, the Rosa episode, the India episode.
Yep. And then the other ones were the space race.
The space race, the Pating.
And the Pating.
And then this one. Right? So, which I don't have a problem being on Earth, I guess, but it hasn't felt like we've been traveling, you know? It hasn't felt like... Didn't feel like you needed a TARDIS.
Versus the other episodes, like previous seasons, a lot of it took place off Earth.
Yeah.
And a couple here or there
which
on
Earth is fine. I mean, the first few, I think, of the classic seasons were more Earth-related, where you fought things on Earth, not necessarily aliens and stuff, you know? So, it's fine. It's just felt different, but I like being able to go somewhere and feel like we are somewhere. And there's a reason we have a TARDIS, whereas, like...
Yeah, exactly. Use the TARDIS.
Yeah. I love that a delivery came through and it had a fez.
Yes. It was hilarious. But then I'm like, okay, so who would have delivered it? Because they would have had to have known it was the doctor, you know?
Yeah, the system did.
So, yeah, so the system's familiar with the doctor.
Yeah.
Which is, like, kind of trippy.
Yeah. I mean,
like, how does the system know?
A lot of people are familiar with the doctor and, like, the forest, with River Song and all that kind of stuff. Like, the word for the doctor for them means great warrior and stuff. So there's a lot of people familiar with who the doctor is.
Well, also familiar with the doctor so much that it knows that it wants a fez, you know? Like, back then. So it doesn't keep current with it.
I mean, I wonder if
several
that was a
ago,
delivery that has been held. So, like, did he order that back when he was Matt Smith, right? And they held the order. And then whenever it realized that it was an order for the doctor that's being held, they expedited it to get help. You know what I mean? Or did they fully create it just now to send it to them and make an excuse? They could have sent anything, but they sent a fez.
Yeah, they sent a fez.
So, I don't know. It was good. I enjoyed the fez thing.
Would have liked a bow tie better.
So we had a nod towards Matt Smith. We also had a nod towards David Tennant this episode.
Where was it?
Well, you laughed whenever they said Agatha Christie.
Oh.
But there was an episode with David Tennant where they met Agatha Christie, and there was a wasp that flew around, and they had to stop this, and Agatha Christie lost her memory for a little bit and stuff like that. So
I remember that.
Yeah. So whenever she was like, speaking of wasps, did I ever tell you the story of Agatha Christie? Like, it was a nod back to an actual episode they had back with David Tennant.
I guess I didn't catch the speaking of wasps. I just recognized the Agatha Christie. Huh.
Yeah.
Okay. That's funny.
It was a fun episode. It was very interesting. I enjoy the idea of Charlie being the bad guy, not the system.
Yeah, that was a great twist. I I love twists.
Yeah, because Charlie seemed like a nice, innocent kind of guy, in love with somebody. So I thought they were going to go this route of being like, oh no, I got to go save her. We better help him save Kira, do all this stuff. And then it turned out that the system was doing it to try to get him to stop from killing tons of people. And I was like, So, sadly Kira died. Sadly Dan died. I liked both of them.
Yeah.
And the upper management were not bad.
No,
you know?
like that look that he gave the doctor. I was like, okay, either he knows what's going on or he's straight up bad guy. But it felt like he was more like, okay, judging her. Yeah. I'm like,
No, I just love the idea that it's not the computer, it's not the upper management, it's a janitor. You know, like
I mean, janitors do know everything, and they do have a lot more access
to all kinds of stuff. No one ever pays any mind.
Mm-hmm.
Like they said all those words in this episode. It was really good. How do you feel about? I saw a thing. That's why I was wondering about, because we didn't talk about it last episode because they had some conversations with the assassin guys that lost their planet and did some stuff. Remember that? They lost their planet and they were just watching. They were the watchers, right? The bad guys of last episode.
The Jarians.
Yeah. There was some talk with that. Do you feel like the Doctor, at least Jodie's Doctor now, has kind of gotten past the Time War? Because there was a little bit of talk, and she kind of like, she didn't dwell on anything. She kind of seems a little kind of happier-ish.
Yeah.
You know, she's a little, I don't know, she just feels a little different than like Eccleston, who was very, you know, he hated the Daleks so much that, you know, he wanted to kill the one that they found, and, you know, like, he was fresh out of the Time War. And then you have David Tennant, who also had a big drive with the Time War, and, you know, had the Master and the Gallifreyans, and, you know, he'll never use a gun, but when the Gallifreyans were coming around, he grabbed a gun during, like, his last spout with it. Matt Smith also had some stuff with it. Capaldi, there's some Gallifrey type of stuff that kind of hit and missed on him, but I don't know, it kind of feels like maybe it's had its time that she's kind of recovered from it a bit, maybe. There was an article I was kind of checking out that popped up on my phone that had the way that they kind of talked about, you know, their race being killed and her response a little bit, kind of leads some people thinking that maybe she's better with it now. Maybe she's had time to
mourn.
Yeah. Especially now that we also know that Gallifrey wasn't destroyed in it. That Gallifrey was locked away in the last time of it. So I think that kind of helped. That happened towards the end of Matt Smith, which I think kind of can help a little bit with Peter Capaldi, where it doesn't dwell on him so much. And maybe by now, you know, maybe the Doctor is okay with what happened during the Time War. So
I can see that. Yeah, that's interesting. I'd like to read more on that. Like, if you want to share the article, that's interesting.
I'll have to find it again and see what all they said.
But we did get Jodie's, like, we've been waiting for this all season. She's had her opportunity to do a little bit of a Doctor speech.
I didn't
to Charlie.
Feel it here, but
it wasn't like a full out Peter Capaldi. Peter Capaldi was like definitely a one of a kind. And, like, his speeches, like, extremely lengthy and,
get
like,
your fingers on the button.
Like, just a fantastic speech.
Here we go. I love it.
The previous Doctors had decent speeches. Christopher Eccleston,
he had
a little bit.
The one I can kind of remember was he had a little bit of one whenever the Daleks had Rose. And he had one that was kind of like, I'm coming for you, Rose, and, like, I'm going to kill all the Daleks kind of thing. Like,
but it wasn't like Peter Capaldi. I think I gave him first place for, like, his speeches. But she had a little bit of one there with the Charlie, trying to connect, trying to relay the message, hey, this is not going to work. Let's think of a different way.
Maybe. I didn't pick it up as much as, like David Tennant had his one whenever Jenny got shot. Whenever, like, that colonel got... Do you remember that episode?
Yeah.
With the weird, like, fish with the breather water things here. He had one there that was really nice. Matt Smith has had a couple, like the Stonehenge one. Where he's like, I am talking. Yeah. And that was really good. The Zygon Invasion one is really good for Peter Capaldi.
I mean, This is the first episode with an actual threat.
Yeah, I'm hoping, like, the finale episode, we get, like, a really good Doctor moment.
Which I think that we will, because they're slowly building it up. Like, she's slowly getting her words in. And, like, this episode has been the most that she's been able to get in.
She has seemed the nicest Doctor so far, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, by far.
But I want to see her boil over at some point, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like we were expecting it with the spider.
Yeah, but it didn't.
It didn't.
I feel like David would have gone all crazy on him, you know?
Yeah, or Peter Capaldi.
Yeah, he'd have gone all crazy on him.
Oh, yeah. Yes. But no, like, I felt that was a missed opportunity. But for this, she was trying to get her words in. Like, she was doing her best.
Yeah.
So I feel like we are going to grow from here.
Like, Matt Smith was very upset at the Queen and the people that were trying to survive on the back of that whale. Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
And when they had a London on top of a living creature.
Yeah. It reminded me of the original Dr. Dolittle.
Sure.
He's never seen it. The one with the intermission?
Yep.
Where they're on the back of, like, a turtle?
Nope, don't know it.
Talking
Aladdin? The third Aladdin? Q&As. Eaton Marks says, what do you think of Jodie as a strong and powerful character? At the end of episode 1, she was very strong, but kind of played a less powerful role in episodes 2 through 6. Episode 7's ending was one of her rare powerful scenes. What do you think? Bad writing or intentional? So they're talking about probably that speech thing that you're saying about with Charlie and stuff, so what do you think?
I think that the writers are slowly, like, learning as their season went on what they wanted to do with Jodie and how much Jodie could handle. So I feel like that's why we keep switching in and out writers to see who fits with Jodie the best. And I think it was maybe poor writing previously or not knowing their actors yet.
Possibly, yeah.
But with this one, it did give Jodie...
Not trusting your actors.
Yeah. This one definitely gave Jodie that opportunity. Wasn't quite one of the Doctor's speeches, but it was still very emotional and very, like, dear to her, I guess. So I know that you said earlier you didn't quite feel it.
I didn't feel it that really with that. I mean, maybe I need to rewatch it and stuff, but it didn't feel like a big, powerful moment like some of the other Doctors have had. Fixed. Red Claw says this season's episode messages are quite on the nose. Do you think Doctor Who is not subtle enough with its allegories compared to the previous seasons, or weren't the previous seasons as on the nose as this one right now?
I think this one's just having a lot of fun with hitting the nail, like, right on the head and just, like, screaming the theme at you. Like, the other ones were definitely very subtle. So then, like, you...
Subtle? Did you say?
Like
just, a subtle story?
Just, like, did not...
No, I don't know.
You could understand it, like, especially if you were older and, like, younger generations could, like, watch it and enjoy it. But this one's just like, this is the issue.
Like the Ganger episode was very much about treating people equally. The story with the whale on the back was very much about, like, what do you sacrifice of, you know, a living creature? Is that less important than a population? You know, like, it touched on very, like, sensitive subjects that I don't think are necessarily, like...
Yeah, but you've named, like, 2. It's not, like, as many, versus this has been, like, every episode hitting the nail on the head.
Of what, though?
Of what?
Like, bombing people is bad, okay? Like, it's not like a direct, like... I mean, it's stuff that we've touched on all the time. You know what I mean? If we go through Doctor Who, the Zygon invasion was very much... It wasn't as subtle at all. His whole speech is about, if you're willing to kill people, then go ahead and do it. But it might be you that gets killed, or it might be, you know, 50% of human life gets lost, 50% of Zygons get lost. Hit your button, take the risk, but that's war. That wasn't a subtle thing. That was a nail on the head kind of moment, you know?
Yeah.
I'm trying to go through a whole bunch of Doctor Who episodes that I'm trying to think about.
I know that there's several.
Yeah.
But, like I said, this has been every episode. Like, even this one was still, like, pretty much hitting the nail on the head. Like, you know, all of our jobs, even now, we're losing a lot of our jobs to machines. Mm-hmm. So, like, and there have been bombings and such, like bombing factories or, shooting people out. Like there's been lots of retaliation for this.
I feel like this episode, as well as any of the other ones, can have your interpretations of, like, what do you want to interpret from this? Like,
okay.
Do you want to look into, like, the problem with this one here, I guess, you have what? Workplace versus things becoming automated. Right? And then you have how you deal with that. Like, that's just a story beat that they have for this episode. And we had... What else have we had? If you want to go through the whole season... Rosa and the Punjab, is that what it was, episode? Are both just historical moments that they're just covering. Which, while maybe having its own, like... message with it, may also just be like, guys, don't forget, like, here's some historical things that have happened, treat people with respect and that kind of stuff. Like, I feel like you could look into any episode of Doctor Who and just pick a random episode.
Both of those were just straight up racism, though.
Yeah, which is fine. Look at every show that we're watching.
I know.
CW shows have all kinds of message and stuff in them.
The point that we're going with, though.
What's the point?
Is that this has not been very subtle about the message that is.
And my point is, I don't think any of them are subtle. I think every single one of them is very much like, here's the point we want to make with this episode. While some episodes are very much like, here's a fun episode. What's the point of the Weeping Angel one? I don't think there's some kind of, like, social commentary amongst that one necessarily. Mm-hmm. I think it's a fun episode. The Pating episode, I mean, sure, you have, like, character moments about, like, a woman who's possibly going to die but will risk her life, but I don't think it's necessarily a social commentary on, well, the state of the world is bad because it was just a fun alien episode. And I think if you go into any Doctor Who season, you'll be like, okay, well, here's these 3 episodes that definitely have a strong message of X, where the rest of these episodes are fun sci-fi kind of episodes. So I think some of the things we're missing is those fun sci-fi kind of episodes.
Which I think this one was kind of our first one hitting that.
But it still had its little message in there, too. Yeah. Which every fun sci-fi episode can also have a message if it wants to. It just depends on what your story is. And, I don't know, there's only... What's the story? That there's only X amount of stories that you can tell that are different? There's something online I read before where it's like, there's like, I don't know, 15 unique stories. Besides that, it's all the same story with just different characters and slightly different situations, but overall it's the same story. Aladdin and Luke Skywalker and Harry Potter are pretty much the same characters, just in slightly different situations, and it's kind of the same story, coming of age and defeating an evil and whatever else.
Yeah.
Like that kind of stuff. So, I don't know. I don't know if the messages have been any less or more on the nose of any other time that a show has had a message, especially Doctor Who. Rebecca says, I really love the set design of the whole episode. Because in the past, Capaldi era, every time we were in the future/space, the set looked really similar. This episode's set was really open and detailed. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I really liked it, and, like, especially, like, trying to go find that cell that Kira was being kept in. Felt like we were in a parking garage, though. But I'm like, that's the bottom of the building. That's the foundation. Mm-hmm. So it was futuristic.
You know what it reminded me of? Did you watch that Halloween-y episode of, like, Toy Story? Where, like, they go to a hotel and there's, like, a lizard's kidnapping them and stuff?
No.
The downstairs of that had all those pillars that they were walking by, and it reminded me of in that Toy Story, like, it's like a little, like, short, like, maybe 30 minutes. They end up going into the basement or like this under area of the hotel, and it's kind of got these pillar things like that, and they're walking through, and all of a sudden, like, they start getting picked off, and I'm like, oh, it reminded me of that. So, but no, I think the set looked really good. I enjoyed it, and I also just enjoyed being somewhere different. The last place we visited was a spaceship that everything was very close. It was just like an indoor kind of thing. That you didn't really see much of anything.
The medical shuttle.
Yeah, you didn't see the outside. You didn't see... Like, here we saw the outside. We saw this grassy rest area place, We saw where they worked. They saw the office. They saw the warehouse. We saw some place where they made an army. Like, we saw a lot of different sets that looked really cool.
Yeah.
And the other one was a big, giant, desert-looking place, remember?
Oh, yeah, for the space race.
We went in a sewer. Like, I don't know, it didn't have as much, it felt. AB says, is that the first time we've seen 13 use the psychic paper?
No. She pulled it out. What's it?
For Rosa?
Was it Rosa? It was one of the historical things.
I think in Rosa she had it for some kind of like bus inspection.
Punjab. I think she did on there also.
I don't think so. They showed up and they got a ride and then they showed up where they were.
Yeah, I thought she showed him to get a ride.
I don't think so. I think they just mentioned like the name and they were like, oh, she said she wasn't going to do it. Okay. Like they mentioned about, hey, do you know yada yada?
Okay, and then
maybe on the spaceship? No, I don't think so. Not on the spaceship because they got taken from somewhere else that they were in. The junkyard.
Oh, crap. I just remembered it, but I couldn't.
The spiders? Did they use it for spiders?
For the hotel, visiting the hotel?
Maybe. No, I don't think so either because Yaz's mom was their connection. I don't think they used it. It may have been. Anyway, AB says, I was already a huge fan of her, but the fez and using old gadgets just makes Jodie feel much more like the Doctor.
Yes, definitely. I agree with that.
Dobby says the fez was probably ordered by the 11th, and the story about Agatha Christie, that happened with the 10th, and Donna. They were nice callbacks. I really enjoyed the reveal of the villain and the method for killing. What did you think of the twist?
Oh, yeah. Loved it.
And then AB says, did the Kerblam robots remind you of the puppets in The Beast Below? Which, ironically, I was bringing up. That's the episode with the whale, where they're riding on the back of that. So, it didn't remind me of the puppets. I didn't think about those. But yeah, I get it.
It reminded me of marionettes.
Do you remember those things?
I don't remember those things.
They were like... They were in like a box sometimes and stuff, but like they'd be a head and it would sit there and it would go and it would be mad. When it would turn, it would be happy.
Were they wood?
No, they look kind of woody or plasticky or whatever. But it would just be like a head and these weird robot puppet things and they'd turn. And then on the other side would be another face that was unhappy.
Oh.
AB says, the writer of this episode has said it was their career dream to work on Doctor Who. I think that's why it felt like classic Who episodes. With so many references, it was written by a fan.
That's awesome.
It felt good. I love just small references to old episodes or old
And if you don't catch it, it didn't really affect anything,
Yeah.
you know? Like, you're just like, okay, fine.
I love feeling like this Doctor has the history of the other characters and stuff, the other Doctors, rather than just being by themselves, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I think that's a thing, like, whenever the Doctor's like, oh, yeah, you know, I've met Queen Elizabeth, you know? Oh, man, Marilyn Monroe, been married there before, you know? Just some comment related to some doctor.
Like, I left him a cell phone. I left Elvis a cell phone. But, like, putting on the fez, I was like, do I still look cool in this? Or,
I was hoping that she would wear it the whole episode, but I was just...
That may have been a little bit too much.
But Matt Smith barely got to wear that fez.
I know. Yet we still know him for it. Like,
River and
how? Versus bow ties.
Ryan says, do you prefer when the Doctor refers to people she's met and that we've seen in previous episodes like Agatha Christie or stories that we haven't seen, such as when she refers to unseen adventures with Einstein and Earhart? So do you prefer a story that we've seen, or do you prefer hearing a story that we haven't seen?
I like them both. Like, whenever she's said, like I said before,
Yeah.
I left Elvis Presley a cell phone, but don't tell anyone, because that's way after his time.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a funny thing.
Mm-hmm.
But then also, I liked referring back to the ones that we have personally seen, because then I'm like, oh, okay. So, what about you?
I think I like both, because sometimes it's just like an off-the-wall kind of, what? So I enjoy when they have that kind of stuff, but I really like whenever, like the Agatha Christie thing, like I enjoyed that a lot. Like just having that, or the Fez, having that pop up, you know?
Yeah.
Just seeing, I always enjoyed whenever they did something and, she's going through something, some doctors are going through something and they pull out like some Converse that like David Tennant used to wear, or they, they find they find this scarf randomly, and then like, the one Zygon twin people, how she always wears like Tom Baker's scarf.
Yeah.
Like I love like things like that are nods back to like, I love the Doctor. Like one has question marks because of the other Doctor, the one has a scarf because of the other Doctor, the one has, it's just, I love when they have little nods towards the history that we do know.
Yeah.
Versus just like making up history that we've never seen and then they never touch on it again. It's fun every once in a while, but I love feeling like there is a history rather than here it is, this is all we have.
Yeah, making it part of the timeline.
Ranting's always fun says, do you find it kind of weird how after all the Doctor has seen this episode, she's still left feeling okay with how things are ran at Kerblam? Last season in Oxygen, he took down the reigning company and gave freedom to the employees, but this episode she left it as is. I mean, she left it... I'm trying to remember the Oxygen episode. I don't really remember it that much. Oh, that's the one with the crew and they're all...
Yeah,
that's when he went
they're monopolizing upon the fact that they're selling the oxygen versus I don't feel like this company is monopolizing over the fact of delivering the packages. It's just that these robots can travel and just like appear where they need to be. So like they're still employing only 10% of their company as humans, but they're still employing humans that cannot do this job.
There was more dirty stuff happening behind the scenes in the Oxygen episode than in this one here. It was one person who was doing some bad stuff. And sure, like they're automating things and it's 10% population working there for people and everything, but now they're changing it to make more people there. So I mean, it felt like things were going for the better and it wasn't necessarily the company that was being
bad,
shady. Yeah, dirty, bad. Well, so I don't think it's an issue with her leaving this time.
Yeah.
Dr. Winchester says, do you think a 10% rule could work?
No,
probably not. And then Andy says, this episode felt like a Tennant-style story. Could certainly use the Doctor and Martha or Donna in this story.
Aww.
I don't think it felt like a Tennant episode because there was not enough running.
This is true, but
David Tennant did some really good running in those conversations.
I really loved Graham in this episode. I've loved Graham
like him
every episode.
Yeah, he's awesome.
But the connecting with Charlie and being so slick with Charlie, like, I love Graham. So I'm okay without Martha.
Martha.
Yeah.
I like Martha.
She's my favorite.
Alright guys, that's it for Q&As. If you guys want to enter into Q&As next week, we only have a few episodes left of this season, so make sure you guys send them in. Any thoughts you have for the season or the episode next week, go to Twitter @BlindWayProd, #Who Q&A. Before we leave though, we need to do our poll, which will be available over at our Patreon. You guys can vote there and leave comments based on the poll. And the poll is gonna be... I don't know, see, there's not been anything really like... you know, an overarching thing, really. So I don't know what to ask. Like, do you think this is going to happen or anything?
Are we going to get more episodes like this? More Doctor Who feeling episodes? I don't know.
I don't know. We keep asking those kind of questions, though, you know?
Do you think the bubble wrap thing could be a possibility?
Oh, that's ridiculous. No one will believe that. Oh, how about this? So, we had a small discussion this episode talking about the Doctor and the Time War. And we wanted to ask you guys if you think the Doctor is finally over the events of the Time War. Leave us some comments of what you think of that. And I'll try to find that article from Melanie. We'll try to discuss that a little bit more beginning of the next episode, as well as what you guys think from the comments. So, do you think Jodie, is this Doctor finally... is it not, like, haunting her? Like before, like Christopher Eccleston's Doctor and maybe even David Tennant into Matt Smith, like it haunted them, I felt like. It dwelled on them a lot. So, let us know. Yes, it's haunting them. No, they're good. Vote, leave comments. We'll talk about it all next week. Right? Bye! Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys want to see more Doctor Who, make sure you subscribe because there is new Who coming out for this whole series, as well as the old series that we're going through currently in Matt Smith's era. So, make sure you guys subscribe so you don't miss out that coming out every week. And check out Patreon, comment there for our poll. Talk about it next week as well.